In today's video, I want to talk about a type of dream that I have somewhat regularly. I'm just curious if other people have this too, because I very recently did a video on losing your teeth dream, and I knew that that was a common dream, but I wonder how many other common dreams there are out there that people just don't talk about. Dreams, a lot of times people don't like listening to other people's dreams, which I kind of get it. A lot of times it's inconsequential, but I think dreams are actually really important. I think there is a practical aspect to it. If you went and got a degree in biology, they're probably going to blame it on evolution. Everything gets blamed on evolution. Well, that doesn't really explain anything. I think that it's obvious that there's a practical part about dreams. It's about what you're going through or what you're doing. You can play a video game all day and dream about that video game, or do a certain activity and dream about that activity. There is the being preparedness about dreams, dreaming about scary things happening. Like, why would we have nightmares? Well, it's so that we can already get prepared for those things. Oh, yeah, I need to be afraid of that type of thing. There's other hypotheses. I'm not going to pretend that people have it figured out, but things like preparing you for trauma, if you experience it first, when you actually go through it, you can be less stunned by it, I guess. I don't know. However, I think that there's a clear spiritual aspect, and people want to deny the spiritual aspect of dreams. Maybe it's more like selective, I don't know, to get the prophetic part of dreams. But I think that there's going to be people out there. I'm not like a super dreamer. I don't have a ton of dreams, and my memory is not amazing. I've probably had dreams that had to do with things in the future, but I don't remember it. I just know that my wife, a lot of times things will happen and she'll say, "Oh, well, I had this dream a while ago. I didn't want to say anything about it at the time." But so I know my wife in particular has dreams that are about things that happen in the future. And I know a lot of times it's in a way where you won't know that it was a dream about the future until the thing in the future happens. And then you go, oh, that's what that dream must have been about. And that is the spiritual aspect of dreams, that it can go against the helic understanding, the purely material. Dreams can go beyond the material, and it can venture into the spiritual realm, and God can communicate through dreams. A lot of times in the Bible, another aspect that I want to kind of make a big point of is how biblical dreams are, that God sends people visions through dreams, and dream interpretation is a huge part. And here's just some specific scripture to look at about dreams in the Bible, and with respect to end times. How many people have had dreams about end times? I've had dreams about end times and portals opening in the sky, and well, let me get into I guess it's also worth pointing out Daniel. Look at Daniel in the Bible as an example. Wise men and sorcerers in times past used to be there to help interpret dreams. That was one of the things. If you were known as a wise man, you would be expected to be able to interpret dreams. And that's like when they're looking for the most smartest people. The most smartest person should be the one that's able to interpret my dream, was kind of a sense back then. And that just shows you, it reminds me of how important things like riddles used to be. And yeah, being able to interpret symbols in a way where all the puzzle pieces fit together is a type of intelligence that I don't know that people try to measure anymore. They call people crazy today if you're trying to give meaning to symbols in people's dreams. Or it just becomes the more woo-woo, like new agey stuff. But it's real, and it's spiritual. It's not new agey things, crystals. No, God, there's a spiritual aspect to God and us. We're made in the image of God. So some things like dreams prove that this life goes beyond just the physical and being able to explain things with the material. It honestly, in my mind, reminds me of how when you live long enough, you realize that there's a lot of instances in your life. I could have died. I could have easily died right there. And I think that that proves that guardian angels are a real thing. Otherwise, we all would know tons of people that just died in freak accidents. The fact that freak accidents are freak accidents is because there's guardian angels working overtime out there, keeping people alive when there's all these near-death experiences. Okay, I think I've said enough. Let me get into the dream. It kind of has to do with this picture right here. And I was having a hard time. People that are better at using the AI software, and I was just using a free one. And I was trying to get cars with no wheels on it, because this has to do with a dream that I have fairly often. And I guess it's worth pointing out that I have aphantasia, and that also goes into my dreams. So my dreams are largely not visual, and I don't want to talk a bunch about that. Maybe time for another video. It doesn't change much. People who don't have aphantasia, they think it's like a really big problem, but I dream just like any other person. It's just that the visual aspects don't matter that much. I know everything that's going on. Anyways, to get to the dream that I have very frequently. Well, very often I'll have these dreams where I end up having to find parking for my car, and for whatever reason I'm in a weird bad area, and I just know that this is not a good situation. And then I go do an event, or I go to the hotel room, it's usually like a sketchy 2-story motel type thing. See, I know all this information in my dreams without it having to be like I'm watching a movie. It's just, that's how my dreams work. I still have dreams. Anyway, so I go to my sketchy, usually the bottom floor of a 2-story motel thing, wake up the next day, and I go and try to find my car. Or it'll be like the event ends and I'm trying to find my car, and it's really hard to find my car. And sometimes my car will just be gone, and I have to call the police, and it's a big thing, and the police aren't helpful, blah. Or I'll stumble into my car, I'll be like pressing the button, trying to find my car. And when I find my car, it's just wrecked. There's usually it has to do with the wheels. The wheels are off my car. And I was having a hard time getting an AI to take the wheels off of a car, which was kind of interesting. I don't know if I finished my thought earlier about the AI thing. I was having trouble getting the AI to give me cars without wheels on it, because that's usually what happens in my dreams, is somehow my car ends up with no wheels on it. And to me, that just sticks out as like, why do I keep having these dreams where my car, I'm in a sketchy situation for whatever with my car, and then the wheels are gone? And so let me know if you've had that dream before. This isn't like a specific... See, the reason that I think that this is similar to the tooth thing is there's that like symbol of, well, I have my car and the wheels are gone. Whereas another, probably the most common type of dream I have is where people are all just out to get me for no reason. Like I'm just living my life and people are just being rude and nasty to me for no reason, unprovoked, and then being chased, people chasing me. Those are my most common dreams. But then something about having my car and then having my car violated is another dream that happens to me somewhat regularly. And yeah, I think that's it. I think I've said most of the stuff for this video. What do you guys think? Have you had that type of dream before? Are you good at dream interpretation? Have you had prophetic dreams in your past? Do you know people who... I feel like... So I trust my wife. I don't think that she's a liar. And I feel like a lot of times people will say that. They'll say, I had that dream and I had weird feelings, but I didn't want to say anything. But now that the event has happened, they'll say, yeah, I had a dream that this was going to happen. I feel like that's going to be really common. It's not really common that people have a dream and they say, oh, I just had a dream. This is going to happen in a couple months or whatever. That, I don't really believe that that's how it works. It's more like we're fed symbols or events happen in our life. So I guess this was one thing that I wanted to ramble about a little bit, that it's just one aspect of being a prophet, I think. That prophets were just people, prophets or wise men, or they would probably be labeled as magicians or sorcerers, were people who were able to pick up on symbols around them and the happenings around them, and probably a lot to do with the stars, I would imagine. That's why they were so interested in that stuff. Even Genesis 1 talks about the stars being for signs and symbols. I don't believe in divination or trying to figure out the future through that stuff. I think that that's like twisting it for the evil. But I think that it's just part of being a prophet or interpreting the spiritual is collecting that information from the world and putting the pieces together and recognizing the symbols and interpreting the dreams and etc. Well, that's it. I've run out of things to ramble about. I hope you enjoyed this video. God bless everyone. Oh wait, bonus footage, if you're still around. There was one more topic that I wanted to talk about, but it totally went out of my mind. And maybe because it's a little bit weirder, and that's liminal spaces and their connections to dreams. People seem to be able to visit liminal spaces in dreams. And the personal one that I go to, I mean, maybe this is why I didn't feel like thinking about it. I guess I'll talk about that here. Maybe it's time for another video, go more into it, or leave a comment if you relate to this at all, or you have your own liminal space that you visit in dreams. The liminal space that I most frequently visit in dreams, and it's a little gross and I don't like it, it does not give me good feelings, is it's a restroom, a men's restroom, liminal space, and it goes on and on. It's this huge public restroom with just rows and rows of stalls and showers and different like rows of urinals and then rows of showers and then rows of, it's just a liminal space that's a public restroom, but it's almost always like empty when I go. Almost entirely empty, except for your odd people here and there. Well, that's my liminal space that I see most often in dreams. Let me know what you think about that. That's another weird spiritual thing though. I think you're going to have a hard time explaining in a helic, totally material way how different people would be able to visit the same liminal space in their dreams, or like, what does that mean? Let me know what you think about my creepy liminal space. Share your dream liminal space that you have visited multiple times. God bless everyone.